This conference, this symposium, is one of a series of such symposia that have a tremendously important and overriding goal and theme, which is nothing less than the freeing of the Iranian people and an end to the regime that is the greatest threat to world peace today. A regime in Iran that exports terrorism, that wishes to exercise hegemony throughout the Mideast and the world, and that threatens to acquire and to use nuclear weapons. Today, we are overwhelmed in trying to accomplish that goal by the events now occurring in Ashraf. The Iraqi government, apparently acting at the behest of Iran, invaded, as you heard, more than 30 dead, the camp occupied, portions of the camp that are used as a cemetery cut off, medical care denied to the wounded. In 2003, when the United States invaded Iraq, a general of the United States Armed Forces, acting as deputy commander of the coalition forces in Iraq, gave a solemn written guarantee to the residents of Camp Ashraf that they would be treated as protected neutrals under the Fourth Geneva Convention, and that status would continue. From 2003 to 2009, that guarantee was scrupulously observed. General David Petraeus, when he turned over control in 2009 to Iraqi forces, said that he obtained from Iraqi forces a guarantee without which he would not have relinquished control, a guarantee that that status would be preserved. Obviously, that guarantee has proved worthless. What is happening in Ashraf is a human rights tragedy and a political disgrace for the United States because it occurred after U.S. troops withdrew and while the United States Secretary of Defense was himself in Iraq visiting. Human rights organizations, the United States, must be given access to Ashraf and a report made public on what happened and why it happened. But make no mistake about it, what has enabled this, what has allowed it to happen, and what is it going to continue to allow it to happen again, unless we do something about it, is the continued listing of MEK as a terrorist organization on the State Department's list of foreign terrorist organizations. That listing began in the 1970s, when MEK was put on as a gesture to the Iranians in the hope that that would open a dialogue. It hasn't worked very well, has it? Under the administration in which I served, I'm sorry to say that MEK was kept on, this time out of fear that if they were removed, the Iranians would do something horrible, like send IEDs into Iraq to kill U.S. troops, which of course they have done anyway. MEK has petitioned under the law to get off the list, and the United States court has told the State Department, and this is a decision now in the hands of Secretary Clinton, told the State Department that it denied MEK due process and that it must reconsider that designation. That was last summer. And the State Department since has been sitting on its hands, kicking the can down the road. What has enabled the Iraqi government acting at the behest of the Iranian regime, and what enables the Iranian regime itself, is this continued designation. It provides a legal shield for the ghastly conduct that you saw on that videotape, and ties the hands of the only Iranian opposition group committed to a secular, democratic, nuclear-free Iran that recognizes the rights of all, including women. That designation must be removed. We observe at this time another sad anniversary. This is the day that President Lincoln was assassinated in 1865. And yet, what he stood for survived. What those people in Ashraf stand for is going to survive as well. And it's up to us to make sure that it does. And one of the ways it's up to us to make sure that it does is to not to let up the pressure and the publicity until our State Department does what it should have done a long time ago and removes MEK from a list that it should never have been on in the first place. Thank you very much.